Hello! Today, we will talk about themes 3 and 4, gender equity in classrooms and biological development and health. We will start with definitions. First of all, equity. Equity means fairness without bias. It means to make sure people get access to the same opportunities to have and enjoy a full and healthy life. Then, we continue with gender. Gender refers to those attitudes and behaviors accepted by society as appropriate ways of being a woman or a man. With those definitions, we will now talk about gender equity. Gender equity means that men and women should be treated alike, and according to their gender needs. It means that there should be a provision of fairness and justice in the distribution of benefits and responsibilities between men and women. In terms of education, gender equity means that gender is not an obstacle to achieving educational potential. To get gender equity in schools, it is absolutely necessary that authorities, teachers, and parents are involved to select, organize, and share knowledge in ways to avoid issues that could provoke disadvantages to students just because they are female. Gender equity in education. It means that boys and girls should have the same opportunities in the future in terms of economic, social, cultural, and political issues. In other words, girls will get benefits according to their needs. The dominant concepts of masculinity and femininity are a social construct. They assign an equal value, status, and power, and limit expectations of girls and boys in terms of their participation in their goals for their present and for their future. Being aware that in school, it is possible to reconstruct the idea of gender to work for equitable educational experiences for both boys and girls is essential. To conclude, putting gender equity in place in the classroom is key to connecting schooling and citizenship with human rights. Gender equity in education cannot be separated as a goal from gender equity in society as a whole. Finally, to get gender equity in education, authorities must train curriculum developers, textbook writers, administrators of districts, authorities in schools, and teachers in gender awareness for developing the new curriculum. They should also train teachers in inclusive teaching practices and in equitable students' treatment, increase schools' facilities, train the teachers, staff, and students to prevent violence and enforcing teacher codes of conduct, and end academic cursing based on gender stereotypes. We will now talk about biological development. In biological development, children go through different periods of development as they grow. Biological development includes stages that start when a baby is still in the womb. The infant stage is also a time of crucial growth and development, and important milestones continue as a person grows, even into adulthood. The prenatal stages of development. Prenatal development is a period of remarkable change that helps set the stage for future psychological development. The brain develops during the prenatal period, but it will continue to go through more changes during the early years of childhood. It occurs in three main stages: germinal stage, embryonic period, and fetal period. Brain development before birth. Human brain development takes place in the third gestational week and extends at least through late adolescence. Growth and development stages in infants and children. Infancy is the first stage of development for children and covers the child during prenatal care up to 1 year old. This first year is a period of rapid development for motor, language, social, sensory, and thinking skills. By the end of the first year, children usually are able to crawl, sit without support, babble, and copy simple sounds and actions. Child development refers to the sequence of physical, language, thought, and emotional changes that occur in a child from birth to the beginning of adulthood. Child development covers the following skills: cognition, the ability to learn and problem solve; social interaction and emotional regulation; interacting with others and mastering self-control; speech and language; understanding and using language; reading and communicating; physical skills; fine motor skills and gross motor skills; sensory awareness, the registration of sensory information for use. The biology of adolescent development. Adolescence is a period of transition between childhood and adulthood. It is the name for the period from 10 to 20 years old, where boys and girls reach adult height and weight and undergo sexual maturation. Changes that take place during this period are physical, intellectual, personality, and social development. The time and speed with which these changes occur vary due to genetics and environment. Sexual maturation or puberty begins at different ages depending on genetic and environmental factors. Nutrition, general health, and living conditions have affected the sexual maturity times. In the terms of brain development, it is necessary to remark that the frontal lobe of the adolescents, which is responsible for judgment, impulse, and controlling planning, are still maturing. That is why we can see an increasing risk-taking behaviors and high emotions during this period. When it comes to the word health, the word health refers to the state of complete emotional and physical well-being and a resource for living and enjoying a full life. There are some factors to take into consideration for having a good health. They are genetics, the environment, relationships with friends and family, and the level of education and income. The relationship between health and school performance includes the following parameters: sleep, exercise, and proper nutrition. That will be all. Thank you for your attention.